Hello out there. Welcome back. Basically doing a fill-in show for Rick. If you're not familiar, he got injured this last week. Um, I first was wrong of me to assume, but I couldn't help it. I had the assumption he said something wrong. It was lady friend got his ass kicked. So if you notice that post, that's what that relates to. But from what I've heard, he was actually talking crap about mac and cheese, reorganizing his room, and dropped my 308 on him, and it bit him apparently, and scraped him down the side. Now he's got an infection going on. So I believe this is public knowledge, but he's basically laid up. So he's not making a show. He's got to be all elevated and stuff. Um, Still like my first thought that his lady friend beat him up, but I don't know. So I'm here trying to fill in for him. If you're here and don't know who Rick is, it's Rick's Life as I see it. Um, if you're here due to my channel or whatever, and you're a regular subscriber, thank you, appreciate you. Or if you're just new popping by or a new subscriber, yeah, thank you. Again, I guess so. Typically, just to give a quick rundown, I don't really do shows. I've been lazy and been doing short content lately. So maybe that's where you know me from. Maybe you know me from videos, talk shows, whatever. Maybe I'm just some random dude on the internet wearing a cool poo shirt. I don't know. But anyway, this is what we're doing. So I was lucky enough to be joined by G23 tonight, which is a Glock lover. Glock, I don't know. He runs Glock Club in his local area. I'm an M&P guy. I still allow him to be here because it's America, and I'm not gonna discriminate against him. But
And the fact that you have a Glock in your
hey, that's just scratch that out. But anyway, I'd let G23 introduce himself, say hello, come up with any excuses for loving Glocks.
well, what's going on, Rob? Thanks for the invite, and say hey to everyone out there, Misfits Darling, Gunpowder Beauty out there, Michael Hurtnick, Chris from the 740s out there. So just say what's going on, MCs out there, uh, and the reason the reason why Rick like hurt himself, he doesn't eat mac and cheese, and he won't eat a salad. So, I mean, if you just eat a salad every once in a while, he probably wouldn't have gotten an infection.
Yeah, I think he's been eating salads lately. I mean, he might be slipping, but the mac and cheese thing could be karma coming back to get him. I don't know. So I mean, he might have a point to that. I'm not sure. So we got Chris from the 740 out there as well. What's up, man? See, I sent some other invites out. I believe I sent you one, Chris. No obligation, but if you're available, you're welcome to jump in as well. So, um, Kevin from New York is out there. Not sure if you said that earlier, G23, but Rod of Iron this weekend. Holy crap. That snuck up on me. Usually I go to that, and I'm supposed to be doing it started as whatever. I'm supposed to be doing a enclosed or deck with a roof on it this weekend. So unfortunately, at this point, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to make it this year. But if you go there, definitely send me an email or something. Let me know how it's going. I know last year didn't seem good, in my opinion. But yeah, I appreciate the heads up. But obviously, if you don't make it, I understand. See here, he might be talking to you, G23.
No, I think he's letting you know that one, you can get a good Glock for a good price, and it's a 10 millimeter, so it's not that limp wristed 9 millimeter that you're used to.
Money for 10 millimeter.
It's a man's caliber. 40, 10. It's not this little limp wristed.
You buying me ammo? 10 mil. Whew. I don't know, man. If it going tactical FUD. Yeah, I think he was talking to you. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just I know everybody loves a 10 mil. A lot of people, I assume you being the Glock guy as well, clearly love 10 mil. I don't know. It's if it was priced the same, then I'd probably look at it differently. But I don't know. I'm cheap. Unless somebody else is buying ammo. If somebody else is buying the ammo, I got a completely different list of shit I would have. But if I'm buying the ammo, the list is affected. It's just is what it is. I'm not I like certain amount of rounds for everything and stuff, and not saying it's crazy or something, but still, it's just I don't know. Just I don't have it like G23 over here.
I'm telling you, you want to see expensive? Look up what 7.7 Jap cost per round.
No, man. See, I see it. No, I try to run with like NATO rounds, stuff where you can find it typically cheaper, more is available. It's made here, it's made there, or whatever the case.
Norma makes 7.7 Jap. Hornady makes 7.7 Jap. It's out there, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that's because it was like a World War II cartridge.
Shit, even 410 is a pain in the ass. Like finding 410 with a variety. Like
what are you talking about?
Like around here, like good luck. You can find some birdshot, something like that, but everything's got to be ordered, and then New York's got all their stupid ass stipulations and background checks to ammo now, and paying to get ammo sent to a store to get a check.
Yeah, I can go to any store. Like I can go to Cabela's, I can go to Bass Pro, I can go to Sportsman's, I can go to mom and pop local LGS's. I can find boxes and boxes and boxes of 410.
Really?
From birdshot, buckshot, fucking
it's probably
self-defense ammo. I can get the PDX rounds.
I don't know, man. It's probably a New York thing or my area thing, but around here, you're lucky to see a box of 410, let alone a variety of anything. That's one of the reasons I haven't gotten anything in 410, technically. So,
I have a Taurus Jug that shoots 45 Colt and 410. Damn thing's fun.
Yeah. I assume it's got to be fun. To me, it seems more range toyish or maybe even survivalist. But you being a Glock guy, I'm sure to you it's just a normal gun.
I'm telling you that you can put good rounds downrange with that thing, and I sure the hell would not be standing downrange saying, "Go ahead, I don't think you can hit me."
Oh, I don't want to get shot with a BB gun, man. Like been there, done that. Like no, I hear you on that aspect. I'm just saying, I don't know. I guess if you're loading cocktail, I don't know. I get there's so many scenarios or whatever, but as a typical self-defense gun, it's not for me. I can put it that way. So, but don't
So,
mean it's
so
right or wrong. It's just not for me.
let's talk about what we're going to classify as a typical self-defense gun. Wouldn't that be whatever firearm is sitting right there that you can readily grab to defend your ass?
Yeah, that would count, but I'm thinking like EDC or something. Something you're carrying, something that would be. I guess I don't know because I'm not even really bitching about round count. It's just
it's 5 rounds. You can. It's 5 shots. You can run 410 through there. You can run. You can run bird shot, buck shot. You can run dove shot. You can run.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you're right. I don't know.
So you can come up. Are you defending yourself against 2-legged, 4-legged? Are you defending yourself up against snakes? You got your choice. You can switch the cylinder and take care of what you need to take care of.
I mean, yeah, I get that theory, like with the KSG, where you got the dual tubes, having a cocktail, even in my Mossberg 500. But it's just got one purpose for me, that one. So I don't, kinda, besides the range and stuff. So I don't know, man. I can't think of the words, but like I said, it's just, I guess, not for me. Seems big. I want something I can get shots off quick, but I guess you can. How many pellets are coming out of the 410 double-aught buck?
I'd have to look that up. I think it's 9.
Either way, it's more than one. So
yeah,
I mean, you still got it there. Don't get me wrong. So
And if you're running the self defense 410s, you've got 3 discs and I think four pellets coming out of there. Plus, you got the wad.
Yeah, even Kevin's saying in his area 410 in New York. So, and 20 gauge, same thing here. You can, you might find something defensive if you check every store in town, and other than that, it's probably going to be like a target load or bird shot. So, might just be a New York thing, like I said, our area. So, and believe it or not, we do have hunters here. A lot of people do hunt, but I guess when you're in the country, you realize that. In the city, you probably don't. But still, they don't necessarily supply everything, or we don't have cool stores locally near the city, which is kind of odd because of all the regulation and everything there on top of it. But they have, bigger facilities with ranges in them, stuff like that you can try before you buy, or rent, which is really pricey. But when you're considering buying a gun, it's probably not a bad idea, an option for people. But in my area, we don't have a lot. So sorry, man, I got sidetracked there with this comment a little bit. I'm pulling a Rick. So what were you? Let me put it like Rick. What were you getting on about?
We're just talking about what we're going to classify as a self defense.
Okay, all right, yeah. I guess it would be classified as self defense. And no, this is not an endorsement of this damn company. I was gifted a cup, and
Sure. Well, I mean, just like it's a Glock, if you get sent a Glock coffee cup, you're gonna start using that too.
I might. Honestly, I might. I don't know. As long as it's not like sparkles with glitter or some shit. Let's see. Looking into a SAR 9.
Yeah. SARs are. I mean, I guess you want to. It depends on how liberal you want to be with the word clone, because SARs, yes, they're a striker fire, but I wouldn't say that they're, Glockish. I mean, they definitely don't take a Glock mag. Now, if you want to talk like a Glock clone, okay, we got like the Grizzly, we've got the Dagger, we've got, you know, anything that's going to take like the Platypus. You could call the Platypus a Glock clone if it's going to take Glock mags. I mean, it depends on how you want to be with that word clone. What's going on, brother Chris?
How's it going? Audio okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Think he might be a little quieter than G23, but and I don't know how I am compared to him, so I don't know if there's different levels. And this isn't a professional show like your guys or your show, Chris. So I apologize.
I haven't done a show in over a year, Rob.
I'm just a regular dude, 5'7", mediocre penis, nothing special. I've been waiting forever to use that joke, but sorry. Go ahead. So how you been, man?
I'm doing good. I've got to do a show with Ron Wayne tonight at 8:30, and I was getting everything set up, and then I got a link from you, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," because this is like back when I first started on YouTube on Saturday nights with you guys.
Okay, yeah, everything popping back up. It rains, it pours. So
yeah, no, this is awesome, man. I'm glad you invited me on.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I know you're usually on Rick's in the chat, so I figured it'd be worth a shot. And I tried a few people and see who showed up. So, but thanks for joining us. You got any opinions on the SAR here? SAR 9mm?
Yeah, well, I've got the SOCOM. I love it. It's a pretty good gun. Why are you thinking about getting one?
No, Patriot from Warsaw was saying he's looking into a SAR 9 Glock clone.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a Glock clone. It's more, it's got a lot of HK attributes to it because it's got the side panels that you can change and the back panels at the same time. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anymore. Now we call everything a Glock clone, but it's kind of its own pistol at the same time. So, but they are nice. I mean, they run good.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, Glocks run good. I won't argue that. So I just personally think they're kind of ugly. Now, does it matter? No, it doesn't really matter. They work. Like I said, I've owned one. It's not a problem. The grip angle, it takes a second. Once it's not a big deal. So I don't really have anything serious against Glocks. Everybody out there, if it's hurting you or bugging you, but I just, I don't know. I like Smith & Wesson better. So sorry. Go ahead, G.
Did you just clip that, Chris, so that we can use that audio in shorts? I mean, did we get Rob saying that he likes Glocks?
I don't know if I said that. I'm just saying. I don't hate them.
Where is DM Foss when you need him? Because I mean, he would have a little video already made up.
Yeah, he'd be all over it, wouldn't he? Yeah, I don't know though. I'm with Rob though. I never liked factory Glocks. I'm with you. I think they're ugly too, but that's why I tend to always have clones of Glocks because then I can get more of what I want, as far as they go. But I've never been an actual fan of the factory Glocks.
Yeah, I can remember, being a kid and seeing Glocks, and before I was like into guns, and they were on TV, all the movies and stuff. And even then, I was never really a huge fan of the looks of it. Like the silhouette, you knew what it was, but it was never anything, like it wasn't like an MP5 was to me, where that that's on the list. One of these days, you know what I mean.
I hear you.
The Glock
That's
was
still
just
one of my.
the
That's
Glock.
probably still my all-time favorite gun.
Yeah.
I love the MP5.
Yeah. How you doing, G? We got G Webs in here too. So
dang, if I had $1 for every time I joined one of your chats and you're in here praising Glocks like this.
Oh. Well, nobody watches it, so
I would have $1.
It's a start. So,
yeah, thanks for the invite. Thanks for hosting.
No problem. You said trying to cover Rick's little spot there for a bit and see how it goes. So yeah, did you have any experience with a SAR 9 G Webs by any chance?
No, if they put 4 handguns in front of me and one of them was a SAR and you were going to give me $100, I probably would not, unless cover the markings. I would not know which one the SAR 9 is. I haven't paid attention to these things in a while.
Okay, all right.
I've picked them up at SHOT, and I mean, because they give you a free bag, so I go over there and grab the bag once in a while. And I've looked at their guns; they seem solid. The company seems cool, but I don't know nothing about their reputation or their operation or anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything about their stuff either, to be honest with you. So
I'm like if somebody who drives trucks like my whole life and like vans and things, like I don't even pay attention to cars. Like you could put a Toyota and a Kia and whatever the car companies are in front of me, and I wouldn't even know. I know they're on the road and they're in front of me all the time, but I wouldn't be able to identify them. And
right.
I just haven't filled my head with that stuff. Same thing with pistols. If it's not, I don't know. I haven't shot for a pistol in so long, so I just don't even. They just are like noise to me. I don't want to be a jerk, but I just don't pay attention to them anymore. I'm sure it's just like bolt action rifles to most people, right? Like most people don't care that there's like a zillion differences between bolt action rifles. Most people just see a bolt action thing with a scope and they move on to the next pistol they're there at the gun shop for, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Makes sense.
You know who would be a good person to talk to about the SAR? Wheeled and Well Armed. He was the guy. You go to his channel, he's probably got 40 or 50 different videos on SARs. I mean, I gotta reach out to him. I have not talked to him in like forever.
Yeah, it's been a while since we heard from him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything out of him for a long time.
Yeah, me neither. So I wonder if he stopped putting the stuff up or what the case is.
Yeah, people get busy. People get good stuff happens, bad stuff happens, or they just get sick of YouTube. I mean, some of them move on. People have gotten their channels pulled down and their content pulled down for sure. So there's always people that just say, forget YouTube at this point. I'm going over to Rumble or one of those places. Hopefully you just did something like that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Rumble, like since you guys are in here, you guys probably know what information gets passed. Does that work like a YouTube or what? Like, I don't know. I know like you got to sign up for it or something. I mean,
have you ever been over there at all?
No, not really. I went to the page thing and it asked like username and something. So
yeah, I mean it's like probably YouTube. I imagine if you never, I don't know. I've never gone to YouTube without an account really, but anyway, it's kind of like YouTube. Yeah, you get an account and then you can watch everybody's stuff. It's just a bunch of people that are really into politics. So unless you're talking politics, I don't think things succeed over there. I don't think, because YouTube's got a lot of nerd stuff or business stuff or, I don't know, like how to troubleshoot cars and stuff. I don't think that kind of stuff lives over on Rumble too much because I don't think that stuff was kicked off of YouTube. I think Rumble exists for a lot of people that were kicked off of YouTube, and that's a lot of politics and, guns and that kind of thing.
I know.
Another big.
I do live streams from the range on Rumble, which you can handle firearms on Rumble, which you can't handle on YouTube. So it's like a kind of a little of both,
The downside to Rumble, because I post over there every week too. I'm up to I'm getting close to 900 subs over there, I think. But the problem with Rumble is nobody engages over there. So like the other day, I had a video that got 21,000 views on it, but like it only ended up like 15, 16 thumbs up and maybe one comment. So there, you don't have the engagement over there like you have on YouTube. And then the other issue, like G said, if you're only putting up gun content over there, and you're not really doing a lot of the political talk, the only way you can really succeed over there is if you get an editor to put your video in the editor's picks. So, like, probably 1 out of every 5 I upload will actually get kicked over into the editor's picks, and then that's where all your views will come from. But they tend to not do that unless you're a massive channel that's gone over there. Like Mr. Guns and Gear, for instance, like if he puts a video up on Rumble, it'll go in the editor's picks every single time he uploads a video. So his channel just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger over there.
Right. So it's kind of
now if you're if you only are going over there to strictly talk political news and things like that, then you're going to grow pretty fast over there. But what I like about it is if there's a tutorial video or something I want to do, I can do that over there because I can show you how to build a gun. I can show you how to do a trigger and an aftermarket parts. You can handle and do anything you want over there, which is kind of nice.
Does it have one of them things where you like click it and it pulls all your YouTube videos and puts them over there?
No, so it used to do that. When I first joined, every time I uploaded a video to YouTube, it didn't matter even if it was a content, a short, a live, or whatever, it would automatically go over. But then YouTube cut that off. Said you're not doing that anymore.
Because that's the reason I don't use it more, is because it's a little more technical or whatever. Like it's an extra step. So when I use StreamYard, it doesn't just connect all the time. Well, I don't think it does just connect. I have to kind of like plug it in every time. And if I don't think to or whatever, then I go live on X and YouTube real easy, and it's more of a pain. So if it was a little bit easier, I'd probably be streaming. I use a Twitch all the time because it is easier. And Twitch is for gamers. I don't know if you've used Twitch, but it's kind of similar, that it holds videos. But I think the videos expire in 24 hours. So you don't really have a library over there. I think they just go away after a bit. And usually I just get bots from Twitch. And I'd suspect Rumble is probably a ton of bots because it costs a lot of money to remove bad players from a service. I mean, even on gun channels, like if I would have been paying attention, it would have taken hours worth of effort every day just for the size of gun channel to remove all the dumb bots and things, even with some tools I had. So something like Rumble, where there's an incentive, to have a bunch of just empty accounts that create views. And then those counts need to look real. So they'll run around clicking on things so that they're there to click on XYZ, but they're going to click on a bunch of other stuff so they don't look like they're there just for XYZ. And because of that, we'll get all kinds of random views, which are nice, but they don't really mean nothing. If, like Chris is saying, you don't have people behind them, then it's just fake views or whatever, fake numbers. I don't want to say fake, but it's just irrelevant numbers.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, every video that I upload over there, I'll get at least one bot comment, and then you got to go in and remove it. It's a kind of a pain. So, I want to see them succeed over there. I like what they're doing. I like the freedom of speech we have over there, but at the same time, it's just kind of.
Here's the thing, too.
It's really clunky compared to YouTube.
In SHOT Show, and you walk in and the upstairs where the radio row is or whatever, and where USCCA is, that like big area upstairs before you go down the escalators. There's a big company there, and I forget what it is, but somebody that sells like shirts and backpacks and things like boots and stuff. They got their big booth set up there, and it's a really open booth. So I just happened to be standing there looking at something, or maybe I was looking at my phone. And then the guy from Rumble was there talking to that company. And, SHOT Show is, you hear, unless you're really focused on something, you hear a conversation. So I did hear that, they were talking to each other. So that means, Rumble was at SHOT Show. Like a representative from Rumble was at SHOT Show. So that's, there's nobody from YouTube. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Every once in a while, there is somebody from YouTube at SHOT Show. But it's it's still something. They don't have to go to SHOT Show. And they're there talking to companies, like they want to figure out how to do advertising. They want to appeal to, creators and stuff to use Rumble. So, and that's kind of cool. Like you said, I want to see them succeed. I just don't.
Now, do you think they sell your information when you sign up, any of that type of crap for advertising and blah, blah, blah? Anything other than like what you got going on with YouTube?
That's a good question. They could, but I would suspect they don't, just because of the kind of people that use it. I don't think anybody would start using it if that was a thing. And I think the people that would really care about that would scrutinize their user, or whatever they call it, that terms of service. But that's a good question. I have no idea. I wonder if you asked a robot if it would tell you. Let me find out.
Maybe. Yeah. I guess my concern with it is, I don't know. A lot of this, all the, stuff that pops up, I guess I was going to say new. It's not really new. People have been doing it now that I know for at least a year. So, but yeah, I always wonder what's behind it. Just before I jump into anything, I like to have an idea, and preferably people that have had interactions and whatnot. Then just
one thing nice kind of about Rumble over like YouTube is you can be monetized from day one of being over there. You don't have to wait till you have 10,000 subscribers. You don't, nothing like that. Now, I'm unsure on how you actually cash out, because I do have like money over there, but I just don't exactly know how you cash it out. From where, like, because during one of my lives, when I was doing a live stream with Stifler Manufacturing, Hot Dog 990, who's a great guy on both Rumble and YouTube, came in and bought like 5 or 10 channel memberships on my channel, and like just donated them to everybody. So it was kind of cool.
I'm glad I asked then, because it seems like everybody had something on that. So,
I just looked it up on the robots, and it says that Rumble says it doesn't sell your personal info as defined by California's Consumer Privacy Act. And then a little while later, it says if Rumble did sell it, they claim that it would be you're opted into it because some other part in the contract you sign says that they'll share with third parties stuff that makes the service work better. And then later on, it says that they use cookies and stuff, which everybody uses, and tracking to collect that kind of data. And then it says that they had some kind of allegations that they were selling their stuff to Meta, and that's a class action lawsuit alleging that Rumble. So it's not like you're coming up with this out of nowhere. Like, it has been a thing. So I guess they probably are debating, like, if they're selling cookie tracking data to Facebook for some reason for ads, probably, that probably doesn't fall under California Consumer Privacy Act. So that's probably the hair that they're splitting. And, it's a good question. But the thing is, your cookie stuff, like basically what videos are you watching? If it's not associated with you personally, it's just like a user looked at these videos and that user is, 18 years old and is a male or something, then, selling that to Facebook, does that matter? But, I don't know. Because they make a lot of money selling that kind of data, because then somebody selling aftershave knows who to sell aftershave to or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I know some of that stuff it's like that with a lot of stuff, but when I can, I try to volunteer the least amount as possible in most cases. So sometimes that means I don't get to, download the newest, coolest game or whatever that's in the Play Store or whatever. But, that's just...
Well, me too, dude, because if you agree to that stuff, then essentially the software when it's running on a computer or on a phone, it's either on all the time or it's on when you need it, and it shuts down when you don't need it. So it's either in your RAM or it's not in your RAM, right?
Yeah.
So you only have so much RAM, you only have so much computer. So if you tell some of this stuff, yeah, do whatever you want, then it might just run 24/7 waiting for you to do something that, so what if it's inconsequential to you, but it's running on your computer? I don't want anything running on my computer that I don't want running on my computer, just because I want all of my RAM for what I am running on my computer. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of reasons not to, stumble into stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons like Discord is like that. And one of the reasons I didn't like Discord for the longest time, I still don't like it because it's invasive like that. When you shut the browser down, like if you have the notifications on, it'll still kind of be there, to tell you, hey, somebody said something on Discord about you. And, again, I don't want my computer tied up with that kind of stuff unless I intended to.
Yeah, I've had issues similar like that, just with storage on phones and devices where things are running in the background that aren't really anything to me, but related back to a game or whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. I just, it kind of pisses me off. Like Kevin was saying here a minute ago, even like the McDonald's games, like, I don't know, maybe I'm old, but I remember you used to like pop a soda bottle at the store and look under the cap and it'd say like free soda or whatever, like you actually won something or whatever, everything didn't necessarily relate back to a code online. Like even the damn cereal boxes. I was eating something the other day, trying to see it says you win or whatever. I don't know. And yes, am I being a little immature? Maybe. I'm eating cereal. I'm having a moment here, whatever. But why isn't there like a prize in the box or
well, they don't do that no more.
Everything's online. Cracker Jacks. You go online to get your prize now. Like
I knew for a while
Cracker Jacks, man.
Tattoos or something dumb instead of like actual prizes.
It upsets me. Like they everything's about the information. So that's part of my pet peeve with some of this shit. That's why I like eBay instead of Amazon. I can just buy what I want, check out as a guest. I still get the free shipping. I've never had these horror story problems.
I had a problem with eBay for the first time where I ordered something from Italy, paid for it, and then the guy goes, I can't send it because of the Trump tariff on shipping or something. And then he refunded me all but $2. And I was like, I wonder if that's the scam. Just put something out there, wait for somebody to buy it and refund everything but $2. And
a restock fee or something.
I don't know, but I wonder what $2 of American money is worth in Italy, I mean, because that $20 and they could just
that's a good thing to look up. Yeah. Well, I know they don't make a lot as far as Italy's concerned. It's cheaper living, slower. They don't have the American way work lifestyle,
Well, Italy's like the size of Florida or something.
Yeah, or the hustle that we have here where, we're beating our heads against the wall trying to do everything and then some.
From what I understand, like a half of the square footage of Italy is the spaghetti forest where they grow all that spaghetti.
It's probably got to be. And meatballs. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
So you're talking about getting stuff in like real prizes or whatever. When I was, it wasn't one of my first. Well, it's one of my first jobs as a person, but like as a kid, it was a job I had like I guess during the summer. It was basically helping pay for my gas money in my car, and I was working at this warehouse, and this was the 80s still, so it would be back in the day when you'd buy something and you'd get something in the mail. So I can't remember what company it was, but some company that sells radios and stuff had a dog that was listening to a radio or a record player, I think. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, RCA.
Okay, so they had a thing going where you'd get this little stuffed animal dog for buying something, I guess, right? So I worked at this warehouse where people would get, send in to this little piece of card, a little piece of paper, like you're saying, they had to write on there with a pen or whatever their address. And then people would literally be standing at a table, have to read that thing, make a little return label, put a dog in the box, and then ship it to them, right? So I was just there kind of cleaning up and doing stuff. So kind of like just a kid, right? Like the lowest man on the totem pole, just doing all the stuff, emptying the garbage bags and stuff. So I got to see all kinds of stuff. I didn't like have to stand there and do any real job. I was just always kind of running around seeing the whole place. So it was kind of cool. Anyway, so that was the environment, right? There was this cage where all the good stuff was. Like if there was a really expensive thing that they were going to send out, they had this like big caged area. And in there was these credit cards. Nobody ever, a lot of people don't know that they made these. And this was like the 80s or whatever. But certain people, they would send these credit cards, and it was like I don't remember, gold or black. And it was like anything you want from McDonald's, if you have this credit card, it's just free. So they would send these to people every once in a while, and they'd like make a big deal, like, hey, we're sending a McDonald's card. That's how I know about it, is because they would make a big deal, like, oh, we're sending one of the cards. And they'd always like, it'd be like going to like a governor, shit like that. But yeah, there's I don't know if they still have them, but there's like credit cards that you just carry it around, and anything you want at McDonald's is free. I always thought that was pretty cool.
Damn, yeah. Yeah, I thought I had a good deal by, swiping a stack of free cheeseburger pamphlets at the fire station one time. So as a kid, so sorry. but they were take as many as you want. They had booklets out. I took a pack. I don't know.
It's probably like read 10 books and you get a free hamburger, and you're like,
my friends had free cheeseburgers for like a year. Like they were getting so tired of giving them to us. but, hey, no, don't threaten me with a good time. I guess I'm lucky out.
I remember when I was a kid, my grandpa, he smoked 3 packs of Camel non-filters every day, and he bought his cigarettes by the cartons, and then he would get those Camel catalogs in the mail, so you could turn in like your little things off your pack.
Yep.
And he would never do it, so I would always go over there and like collect all his Camel packs, send them in and get all the T-shirts, because that was back when they were like sponsoring all the motorcycle racing, and you had the Camel with the cigarette hanging out of its mouth, and that was wild.
Decent stuff.
Couldn't do that shit now.
No, they literally made it illegal, right? But that was probably why. But that was good stuff too. Like I had a bunch of stuff from Camel Cash.
Yeah, Marlboro used to do that. They had the backpacks, all types of different things.
I knew people who knew people at bars, and the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, people that didn't care would throw their Camel Cash or their Marlboro Miles at them, and they just had big buckets. And so I knew people with like leather jackets and the fancy, did somebody have a pool table, or am I just thinking of a movie? But I think there was like a pool table or something crazy.
Yeah, I think Camel I know they had pool cues and pool balls. I don't know. They may have had a table also, but
it could have been the kind of thing that you could buy as a bar or something too.
Yeah.
But it just
Joe Camel.
Well, I remember even back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, the cigarette companies would like send out these girls. They were all beautiful girls dressed about nothing, and they would come in to these bars and just give away free packs of cigarettes.
Well, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was big. When I was living in Cincinnati, that was big time. Like you go to a bar and these people would come in and they'd have boxes of cigarettes, and they'd come in and give you packs of cigarettes. And now you can't even smoke in bars anymore.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's like, oh, you've never smoked before? Here, have a pack of free cigarettes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it must be cool. These gorgeous ladies are giving them to me. So whatever. Yeah, that's funny.
I've seen that with Red Bull. I was when I volunteered at the range. They were out at the fairgrounds nearby, and we're like, we didn't know what this place was, so we stopped by. And here's a bunch of free Red Bulls. And it was just a bunch of girls with like volleyball clothes on or whatever, like handing out free Red Bulls. And that's when I learned I didn't like Red Bulls.
I've been to like Buffalo Wild Wings, and apparently it just missed the Cooler Girls. I guess they did the same thing or something like that, where they show up and I don't know if they give out beer, but they're wearing bathing suits or whatever, bouncing around the place and doing something. I don't know. So I guess that's still a thing. I don't know. Despite that, I don't think I've seen much of that or really any firsthand as far as that type of promotional stuff. I have seen girls at the liquor store handing out free drinks, which blows my mind because in New York, one drink, you can't drive. So it's like all I see is entrapment, but people are up there, getting their drinks and whatever. So yeah, I just smile and walk by, but like, you ain't getting me. So
now, I see that Boss is out there. I saw you that he brought up the Glock talk, and yes, Mr. Boss, you have to go back to right before G Webs came on the panel, and you will hear Rob like praising Glock, saying how he's gonna go buy another one. I mean, absolutely. He's joining.
Was there harp music playing when I came in?
No, man. Nothing like that. I won't even dignify that with a denial or anything. So yeah, no. I will say, since DM Foss is in here, last time I was doing a show, I said I bought this patch, and apparently I'm a damn liar because I didn't. DM Foss sent me this patch. I did buy the hat to put the patch on. Half truths here, right? But to be clear, it was given to me by DM Foss. Thank you, DM Foss. Everybody loves this patch. They I get people complimenting me all the time about it, smirking, looking at me funny. I realize they're trying to read it. So that's basically that. So thanks, DM Foss. But just to clarify, don't be a salty bitch. Came from him. Sorry.
I added some DM Foss to the gas tank, and now I get much better gas mileage.
Got a Chris patch there, huh?
I got me one of those.
Nice.
Actually, I got a couple, I think.
You got it finally, G. Good.
You gave me.
I got a couple of them I sent out that they haven't got them yet, so I don't think they're gone.
I don't know if I got them in the mail, but you gave them to me at Goals.
Yeah, I gave you a couple of goals.
I was saying all this nice stuff, and my damn microphone was muted. So.
All right, to be fair, that could be possible too. Maybe I stole it from her. I don't know. But again, thank you. We like the patch. It's been a while. I don't know. How's it going, Gary? So, yeah, do you guys have anything major you want to get off your chest today, or? Anybody getting remarried, divorced, another dog, running for the border or anything?
Nothing that major. It's 103 days to SHOT Show. That's something to riff on. We all got our badge. Well, did you get your badge thing, Chris? The badge emails have gone out.
I'm actually not going to go, G.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sitting this one out. Yeah.
Because you can't, or because you don't want to?
I just don't want to. Yeah, I'm ready to, I don't know, just ready to kind of take a break from the traveling for a while. I did a lot this year, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to sit this one out.
I'm not sure how this one's going to be. Last year, I anticipated it to be a really big one. I don't know if it really was or not. Nothing what I expected it to be.
Yeah, no, they're distant. So, I mean, if that was something where it was, a few hours for me, that's not, something it's something I'd check out. But for me, it's just seems real expensive to go, check things out and hang out. So, and time wise, because it's basically what, other middle of the country, other West Coast, or
Shot is in Vegas all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a trip. So, and honestly, if I go to Vegas, I'd like to like go hit some of the sites, like not in Vegas, but within a couple hours from Vegas, some of the canyons. You got the dams. There's a bunch of stuff out there that I haven't really seen.
It's closed. Just FYI, the Bunny Ranch is closed, so can't go there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be interested in that. So, yeah, it's one of my things. I know everybody's different, but to me, paying for entertainment, like outright paying, because I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're paying one way or another." Well, maybe that's true in some sense, but outright paying for entertainment, it's just never been my thing, man. Like I don't, I've had other people offer customers and whatnot want me to meet them at the strip club at night or whatever, all this type of shit could be considered business, and I'm just not going, man. Even if it's free, I don't know. It's just not my thing.
Well, aside from all that, when you're talking about SHOT Show, it's usually, for whatever reason, it's on Tuesday through Friday now, which I think it's for travel, so that people can travel on non-weekend days if they really want, if they're just going there sort of as a commute. But I really have no idea. But they've done it that way for a number of years. I don't think they're going to change it. But that also means that it's easy enough to go the weekend before or after and do what you're saying, like go see other things. Since you're already halfway across the country anyway, you do your work at SHOT Show and then go do something. I've encouraged people to do that. It's a little easier for me to say because I'm only 8 hours drive away, so it's easy for me. But if you've got the time in your schedule, I would think that lends itself. And I know people for sure. I don't know if you guys know Pink and Marco, but they would often like do things like go to San Francisco or Denver, rent a car, a nice car, like something like a sports car, and then drive to Vegas. So they and do that on the front half of SHOT. So they would have like a little adventure before SHOT Show even, and spend some money on it, but it was fun for them or whatever. They enjoyed renting cars and stuff. But the other side of it is SHOT Show is massive, dude. It's the entire industry. So if you really want to do it, it's 100 days out. It's definitely possible for almost anybody to hook up with companies. You think about it, how much does it cost you to go to SHOT Show? Like $5,000, Chris? Like it's less than $5,000 for pretty much. I can't imagine it costs anybody $5,000 to go to SHOT Show. So that's $5,000 deals, and that's nothing for SHOT Show. Like getting $1,000 deal to do videos, and just the videos you're going to shoot at SHOT Show, getting sponsorship for those. You can sponsor your trip to SHOT Show, no problem. The big thing that people try to do is sponsor the year from SHOT Show. So if you're looking at it like a business and not just like something to do, since it is a business type trip, then the cost of it should be incorporated into it. And if you haven't figured out how to do that already, there's lots of people that can give you advice on that or to, help you hone down a strategy to do that. But it's a business and we're in the industry.
Yeah, it's definitely the most expensive show of the year I go to. Last year this year wasn't too bad because I didn't fly out till Wednesday morning, and then I was staying with Matt from RTT Guns and Gear, so we split the cost of the hotel and the Ubers and all that, so it wasn't too bad. But man, when I go out there with the wife and the kid, that's when I get into that around $4,000 to go out there.
But then you had a vacation in it too. Again, it's not. Yeah. But no, you're right, and that's why I think that they like Vegas. I think, and why they do it during the week is because there are a lot of people that commute to Vegas or commute to SHOT Show, or whatever you want to call it. Like they fly in, have like a carry-on day bag, which I could change of clothes in it. They get there, they carry that around with them, do the first day of SHOT Show, stay overnight someplace, or like you're saying, stay with somebody even, and then you can Uber everywhere in Vegas. You don't have to have a car, and then go to a second day of SHOT Show, and then go back to maybe an event or something, and then get on an airplane and go back. You're there for 2 days. People will do that, just pick 2 days out of the week that works for their schedule, depending on what you got going on. You got people like Clover that have themselves scheduled out for the whole week too. So there's every possible way of doing it. But I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just saying the opportunity's there. Like, don't think of it as something that's unreachable. I mean, I can't even. Everybody in this chat knows people who have gone. Knows dozens of people that have gone probably, and most of them are just regular people that figured out a way and went. But if you don't go, it's no big deal. There's all kinds of other things, like you were saying. Rod of Iron. You're saying it wasn't as good last year as previous years?
Yeah, no, it's in my opinion, it wasn't as good. It seemed like they weren't doing some of the stuff that they are known to do. I think like fireworks was one of them.
Oh.
Usually there's fireworks. I believe, there was skydivers at one point. A big, huge bonfire. Let's see. Besides that, shooting courses for kids, axe throwing. Basically, it kept getting bigger every year. And last year or 2 years ago, it seemed like it kind of stalled and they had bad weather, which didn't help. And attendance wasn't great. And then since then, in my opinion, it seems to be dipping back down. So now last year, they're not doing some of the stuff they were doing. So I'm hoping it basically revised, because it was in my opinion, a damn good event. So family friendly. They had all types of stuff. Some things people complain about is that there is a tie to religion there. Despite whatever, that's not what I go for. And nobody's pushy about anything. Somebody might hand you a card or a flower, or you might hear there's a seminar going on in some tent somewhere, but the majority of it is all just, pro-gun, Second Amendment oriented. So there's no pressure as far as religion or anything like that. So they've got a store. You can shoot I believe they had automatic firearms. They had stuff like 308s, Tommy guns. Let's see, ARs, AKs. For people that have never shot a gun, there's a lot of people like that. They show up to this place, and come in and they bus you up to the range on little buses and stuff, and you can run through. And I assume it's what I hear, like shot. Everybody gets like 5 shots or whatever. You can pop back out, get right back in line if you want. So it's not like the best free shooting experience, but if you've never shot a gun or you want to try a particular one that's available, it's there as well. So, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty good event. You can buy ammo, gear, all types of stuff. There's food vendors, and I'm probably forgetting some stuff as well. So it's usually good, but unfortunately, yeah, last year wasn't so good. And it seems to kind of, like I said, been downsizing, which is sad to see, because it was a good local free event. So, they claimed it was at one point, I guess, the largest open carry event in the East, which could debatably be believable, since there's not a whole lot that goes on in the East. It's actually open carry right from the gate. So, I don't know, but that's basically it. Yeah, rock bands. I mean, they had all types of stuff. So now I would say some of the rock bands are people that you probably haven't heard of, or at least I didn't. And I like rock, so I don't know. But there's a lot of up and coming people. So who's to say? I don't know. And maybe other people have heard of some of them, but yeah, speakers and whatnot show up. There's been a lot of people that have been in the news that show up at this place to talk and things like this. So that are tied with the current president, and big names, handshaking, all that stuff as well. So basically, it all just kind of depends what you're going for, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to see it be better, but I don't know. It hasn't been looking good. So it's sad to say on that event.
Well, guys, I got to jump off of here and get ready to go over to Ron. So thanks a lot for the invite, Rob. I had fun, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. So thanks for stopping on. And, have a good chat over there, and we'll catch you next time.
All right.
Have a good one, Chris.
You guys too, G and G. Always good to see both of you. So
yeah, good talking to you. Take it easy.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything? I guess the Great American Doors show is coming up. Harrisburg, I think it is. So that's a bit closer to me. Potentially make that if I ever get my car done. So.
Well, where's the Rod of Iron thing in New York?
No, that's PA, Greeley, PA. It's at the car.
How far is that from you then?
I think it takes me about an hour and a half, something like that. Maybe an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know. It's under 2 hours for me. So
yeah, that's like me driving to Phoenix.
Yeah. So I can go there. Like usually, even when we go like multiple days, I'll just drive back home. Unless if people were coming to hang out, I'd get a hotel or whatever. If they were going to get a hotel, so we could all hang out during the evening. But nobody has so far. That's when we were scheduling it. So been just driving home and then go back out the next day or whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem with things that are like 2 to 3 hours away. It's like kind of close enough to come back and forth, but it's a pain in the butt to go back and forth because it's really like 8 hours of driving after everything's done and said. But
yeah. The one time we were a vendor up there, so we were basically hitting the whole weekend and whatnot. So it was a lot of back and forth, but
that's why I like the van, because I can go to Phoenix as long as I don't have to be fancy or nothing. I can go to Phoenix, just lay in the back of the van, not have to pay for a hotel, to just be 2 hours away from my house or whatever. And then
yeah. See, I'm kind of cool with that thinking myself. Unfortunately, the lady's a little more picky, so usually I can't get away with that. But
well, as soon as you got 2 people, now it's like, it's kind of, what do you call it? Dollar cost averages to a hotel ain't, it's only half as much for a hotel at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Did your Subaru, your lesbian vehicle, break down again?
No, and I don't have the lesbian model, just for the record, but no, it's actually doing well. There isn't any problems, but as far as recommended maintenance schedule, I'm due for timing belt and head gasket. So I've been avoiding taking long trips. Need to get it done. I've ordered everything. I've got a head gasket kit, and since I'm doing that, obviously the timing belt. Since I'm doing that, the tensioners, pulleys. Since I'm there anyway, water pump, and since I'm there anyway, oil pump.
You get the thing about the belt guides, or are you not going to replace the belt guides?
In this, because it's an older model, I don't think it's required. So nobody's recommending that. So
no, I'd be looking at anytime if you've got belt guides, because that's just plastic that's getting worn off. So you're gonna, you might as well replace it. If you're gonna replace the belt, you might as well replace the
plastic. Some of the real ones are metal that have like a plastic on them. So the plastic will wear, and you can like you're saying, you can change it out, but the a lot of the newer ones are just straight plastic, and that's where people are getting screwed because they're cracking with the heat cycles, and then belts are loosening up and snapping and whatnot. But that's not a problem I got to deal with my generation for state, but I am aware of what you're speaking about. So, and obviously when doing so, I'm going to look at everything anyway. So I'm doing extra than I need to do anyway with like the oil pump and whatnot. But since I'm there, I might as well just get it all done. So that's my plan. I got all my stuff down to cleaners. What else? New oil, filters, all that. Just because obviously for doing all that, you got to swap everything out anyway. Plus, you got to add stuff when you're putting it back together for the initial startup. Excuse me, I'm burping up coffee. But and then find a machine shop, which that's been my hold up. So I called around a few places, talked to one guy that I'm not 100% convinced on. He sounds cool, it's a professional shop and everything, but the dude seems like Uncle Bobby type dude. I don't know. He's telling me like drop it off and you'll have it done in a week. Like I don't get a good feeling from the guy, so I got to keep calling around. There's a lot of places, but because it's Subaru and a lot of them don't do vehicles at all, but I got to find one that does the vehicles and that'll handle with the Subaru. So it's basically been a hassle. So once I get that knocked out, long story short, I can jump into that, dissect everything, get it all handled, and put it back together. Because obviously ripping it apart, I could have it apart in like 2 hours, but without it being done properly, getting it, milled down, everything 100%, pressure checked, valves, everything. I don't want to throw it back together just to make a dud in 15,000 miles, if that makes sense. Probably going on way too much for people that aren't car people, but
if you just ate a salad,
do it right.
If you just ate a salad, everything would work out.
I'm gonna hope. I'm gonna try. So it's the first time doing a head gasket on a Subaru for me, so I'm not gonna lie. So I've done it on 4 cylinders. I personally haven't had a problem doing them, but it's not my cup of tea. It's not something I do every day. So I know the Subarus are a little different, so it's going to be kind of a learning thing. But usually I do well in those situations because I do have a slight OCD when it comes to certain things and torque everything. And so I'm hoping I'll be all right, but we'll see. All that goes well, I may be able to take some longer trips because that's what the car is for, basically. My work truck would break me to drive that to stuff like that. Basically, I use that very sparingly personally, and 90% of my gas is paid for by a customer when I do use it. It's really it. So,
what about the Honda?
That's gone. Yep, gone. She's been gone a while now. So, and then
you get tired of
a Ford, which I should never admit to owning, but that's gone too. So, my fleet's down to 2 currently.
Did you get tired of having the neighbors set off fireworks on the hood of your car?
No, my neighbor was actually upset I got rid of it. A lot of people are. So, but I really don't. A lot of people would say like, I don't know, 2 cars is a lot. So to have, a collection out here is a little much. For me, considering,
How much does it cost to have cars in New York? Do they charge you an arm and a leg?
How much to have a car in New York?
Yeah, I mean, like out here, license plates cost us like $35, but I know there's states where it's like $300 to get a license plate.
Yeah. You play like when you go for plates here, they go by like what they call registration and the weight for it. So the weight depends on obviously the weight of your vehicle. So the price varies. So I think it's, I don't know. I always expect to spend a lot. I think it's like $70-$80 might be your cheapest on a standard car, and I believe it's more than that. So
don't you have to have your vehicle inspected yearly before you can get your new tags and crap like that?
Yep. Well, you gotta have insurance. Well, yeah, this is like if you get a new car, first thing you gotta do is get insurance because DMV won't give you plates in New York without insurance. You gotta have insurance. So you can insure anything, any piece of shit that you say is a vehicle. Doesn't mean that they're gonna put it on the road or give you plates for it. But anyway, you get it, you insure it. Then you can go down to DMV, show them proof of insurance, title. They will at that point hit you for registration and taxes. So whatever you bought that vehicle for, they're going to tax you on that through the state. So if you bought it out of state and they made you pay taxes, you got an issue there. You can kind of do something with that, but that's a whole nother process. And then if you buy a car out of state, some states they require stuff like God, I'm trying to think of the name of it now. But basically, there's more steps where you have to get stuff done with a notary as far as a title for New York State to even accept it. So a lot of people get screwed with that because when it's a used car and somebody buys one from PA, half the time if they call the people back, the people don't want to answer thinking, because something was wrong or whatever. So now you're kind of screwed with a vehicle. You can't get put on the road that you already insured. So little things you want to check into when you go from different states. But basically, yes, insurance, registration, and then you can technically put your plates on, and they give you a 10-day inspection. So your vehicle, if it's not already inspected within the state, you got 10 days to get it inspected. And that could be whatever, if you're buying a used car, expect there to be something wrong. It's just the way it is. Even if it's a good car, there's probably something wrong. New York State inspections are super picky about things, depending where you go, and it's got to pass inspection to be on the road. So that's the whole process. So if you got like a check engine light on, you're not passing. It doesn't matter if it's for something you don't care about or don't use or whatever. New York State, if you got that light on, you're probably not passing. So it is basically how it's done. So you got to I don't know what you're doing in some cases, know where to take things, or be prepared to fix every damn thing that you don't even care about in some cases. But that's how it goes in New York. And plates you pay for, what is it? I think every year. Pretty sure. I thought it was every 2, and now I think they go registrations every year. And so you pay to get them, pay to keep them, and then when you want to turn them in, you still got to go give them $2 to turn them in. They won't take them from you unless you give them $2. Yeah, but if you don't turn them in and then want to go register something else, oh no, you got to wait the whole period that you didn't turn them in, plus pay a $7 a day fine on top of that. So if it's been months or a year, you're going to be waiting months or a year plus $7 a day. And then you can go re-register something else. So yeah, it's a son of a bitch. Every 2 years registration. All right. So yeah, I was thinking every year, but so every 2 years still. So yeah, only good news is if you pay for one and you get rid of it, you can transfer what was left credit wise onto another vehicle if you transfer the plates with it or whatnot. So, but that's pretty much it. You're paying in New York. So probably a little easier where you guys are at, or what?
Yeah, I mean, ours is pretty darn easy. For the tags, after so you go buy your vehicle, and you're gonna pay for your license. You pay for the plate, everything. The tag is good for 2 years. And then when you go to renew, the first time you go to renew, you have to go in and show your insurance, proof of insurance. There is no inspections, and your plate is yours for your life. You never have to turn it in. And like, I know, like when I lived in Washington, I think it was every 5 or 7 years, you had to pay to get a new plate, which cost even more money. But like now, you can just keep the same plate, even if you can't read it. You can still have the same plate as long as you have that sticker on there that says that your tags are good.
What about your area, G Webs? Maybe you stepped away for a second. It's kind of interesting how it works, different states or areas. So I personally like you buy the plates are yours type deal. I assume if you get a different vehicle, you call them up and attach that VIN to those plates, and it's probably done.
You can, like if you sell your plate, you can keep the plate and put it on a new vehicle. You go to a car dealership, you buy a new car, you can transfer your plate over. I think you pay like $15-20 to transfer your plate.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's still probably a lot better in New York. So, well, yeah, I've been saying it for years that we get screwed a lot of ways, and most New Yorkers don't even realize it. And you know why? Because they don't ever go nowhere like to realize it. But even traveling just cross country, like some places they got casinos and gas stations. Some places you can buy an AR-15, gas, ammo, and rent a movie in the same damn store. Like, but you just don't see that here.
We have places like that.
So,
and it used to be that you could you go into like Chevron, you could get your gas, they'd pump your gas for you. You could go inside, get whatever you needed to get. And you could get pull tabs. So you could, get, like at a bar, you get, win money at the convenience store.
Yeah. And there's drive up bars, like not bars, but drive up liquor stores. I've seen those before. Just all types of things I think people here would find weird. I've gone to other states prior to New York legalizing marijuana and seen, marijuana, weed, whatever, sitting on counters at stores and stuff. All types of other pills that would, those energy pills that might be banned here. I've gone to pharmacies in other states and seen things you're just not seeing here on the shelf. Certain medications, splints, all that type of stuff. It's just crazy how different states do things so differently.
Hell, like you go to Washington, you can go into Safeway, Kroger, Publix, whatever, and you could buy liquor right there. Like you don't have to go to a liquor store.
Yeah, we don't have that. Well, actually, we have liquor stores, but you can buy beer, wine coolers, all that stuff at the grocery store. PA, you can't, like right over the border. And then I can go to PA, buy fireworks, and drive them back to New York where they're illegal. But PA residents got to have a fireworks permit to go buy fireworks within their own state. Like some of this, it really just don't make any damn sense sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you can, like in Washington, you can go to any convenience store, 7-Eleven, whatever. You can buy beer and crap like that. But depending on the square footage of the store is depending upon if they can sell hard alcohol in their facility. Now, there's like if you're in a small town and there's no like bigger towns close by, then they allow the convenience stores to sell like hard alcohol.
There we go. Mexico penicillin's over the counter item. Yeah, I think I can understand what they say, it's for our safety, blah, blah, blah. Everybody will get whatever they say, or antibiotics won't work, antibiotic resistant, things like that. I can understand all the risks, but at the same time, I think it would be nice to be able to go buy some of the basic stuff at the store, whether you're preparing for a disaster, preparing for a trip, your grandma loses half her meds one day, whatever the case is, some of the basic stuff I think would be nice to be able to get, especially with like even first aid, trauma supplies and stuff like that. A lot of the pharmacies around here, like, you just got to get like regular gauze, a shitload. They don't have, I don't know, chitosan bandages or certain things. Like they just don't seem to have some of the stuff that you could go into another place and they just got tons of different, 5 different kinds or whatever, they don't really, it's like they want you to go to the doctor, it's almost like the auto. So they don't want you fixing anything yourself. Go to the doctor. And kind of sucks because, doctors are expensive. Everything isn't always the extreme. Sometimes it's obvious, or it'd be nice to make a call to somebody and they say, your doctor, grab this and you can pick it up without your insurance getting charged $400 for a $20 pill.
Well, Rob, it looks like you're moving to the West Coast. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Yeah. It's annoying. We need more first aid crap. I think there should be less regulation on that. I mean, it's first aid stuff for like saving lives. You'd figure. I don't know why it's everybody may not have the skill, but that's like anything. Anybody can go buy a chainsaw. Doesn't mean anybody should, but anybody could. You know what I mean? It's the same type of thing.
I was doing laundry here, so I missed a chunk of it. But if you buy a chainsaw, if you buy the right chainsaw, you're buying skill at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So in a free country, you should be able to buy whatever you want. So I think there's probably an element of like there's no demand for that stuff. People don't realize that they can take a little bit more into their own hands, so they don't do it and they don't ask anybody for it. But I think if, I don't know, like a trauma kit or an emergency kit was something that people knew about and liked, maybe Oprah talked about it or The View or something talked about it, and everybody went into the pharmacy or the Walgreens and asked for it, I'm pretty sure that they don't have like an objection to doing it. They're just, it costs money to be on the shelves, and if people aren't asking for it, they're not doing it. That's just a, I don't know, like an awareness thing, right? Like people are specialized. They like to go, doctors do this, auto repair people do that, right? Like bakeries do this, right? Like somebody else has to make my coffee for me. Like there's people that are like that. And then, it's free country. If they want to be like that, that's fine. But I think that's what we're suffering from. There's just not a lot of people that, want the DIY emergency care. So, yeah, we have to go seek it out.
Okay.
I do think it should be legal for anybody. Maybe just some stupid, I know what I'm doing, or I don't care. You're not liable, because that's the only thing they could claim is like, oh, I don't want to be liable for somebody being a Yahoo. Well, fine, make me sign a thing that says it's not your fault, and then say whatever I want.
Yeah,
I want to add to that. Yeah. I want to be able to have a kid in school who's learning this stuff and has a creative, growing mind. I want them to be able to buy this stuff to make, experiments or their science projects and stuff like that, or just, to play with the stuff if they can. I want people that are clever and like doing a YouTube channel to be able to buy this stuff and do the same thing. Like this is, again, I think it's not like they're out to get us as much as just people don't realize that we could have it where everything's free, and we could have Teslas and Edisons popping up all over the place if we just had a different mindset, right, as a culture.
Yeah.
So I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. That it's funny you say that. Free power, the Tesla towers and whatnot. I just seen a thing on that the other day about shut down technologies and stuff. So, not to get us running all off on a side task or whatever, but yeah, it's just funny you brought that up. So, But yeah, I definitely agree. I assume, if things don't sell like anything, they're not going to stock. So maybe certain areas or whatnot. But, as a state whole, I know there's definitely less in New York that you can buy in some other states that's on the shelf, whether it's a state law thing or whatever. So, liability, but, again, when it comes to something like that, I would state, chainsaws, power tools, the vehicles. Well, I guess you need a license for a vehicle, but there's so many items that, if you're foolish about things or take things for granted,
Dude, raw chicken. Like every day, people are eating 3 meals a day. And raw chicken in the kitchen can kill
everything's
people.
a risk.
Right? But we're not stupid, right? We understand, and once you're told or once you get sick, you figure it out. So yeah, people just don't. They're not able to, or I don't think they ever get the option to lay it down and say, guns are just another dangerous thing, like all these other, like the keys in your pocket are a dangerous thing, like that phone's a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I always, if I can rant, I always blame the organizations at the national level. They've got the opportunity, the voice, the money, and they choose. In my opinion, now they're choosing to not take on the culture. I don't want to call it a culture war. Just changing that Overton window, changing the guns are normal, because that's really that turning the tide back to where guns were normal. If they would do that, then there'd be no wind in the sails for the anti-gunners. Because if everyone's like, yeah, guns are like cars, guns are normal. I don't love them, but I don't blame them for everything. Like guns are guns. Gun owners are just like car owners. Some of them are jerks, and some of them are fine. Most of them are fine. And then the anti-gunner comes along and says, all guns need to be banned. Then that person in the middle just says, come on, go away. And they got no traction. And that's how we get rid of this whole stupid fight. But there's people that would say they want that fight to keep going. I don't know if it's all that. I just don't think they have the ability to stop and take a look around and realize that we're not fighting the 1970s fight. We're not fighting the 1980s fight. We're not fighting the 1990s fight. We're not even fighting the 2000s fight anymore. We're in post-COVID 2020s, and we could be ending this fight. We don't have to be fighting anymore or suffering from the misunderstandings. Like, we have the ability to end the misunderstandings.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely agree with you, G. The one thing is I think there's a lot more people that are just like, they don't give a damn. Like they don't care either way. Like, why should I care if they advance gun control or if they don't advance gun control? They're like, it doesn't affect me one bit either or. I don't give two shits. So like,
I'm living it, dude, with the drones right now and with AI, because there's the same thing. Like, oh, AI scares me, so ban it. Like, put laws against it. I don't care. But people are basically putting laws against AI that we are seeing, like dumb laws against guns, and they're going to start banning drones for the same reasons. Like, oh, we're scared that drones are doing this and that, or that drones could be used for this and that. They're going to kill a bunch of industry and just a really fun hobby, and a bunch of people that are just minding their business, having fun, are going to be, going to suffer from that whole, like, we think it's a bad thing, and I've been told it's a bad thing, so yeah, let's ban it.
Well, like the drones, if you really get, if they catch you on the Oregon coast flying a drone, you could be looking at federal prison time in certain areas, because it's pretty much all up and down the Oregon coast, drones are marked as a no-fly zone. And because there's like endangered animals out there and stuff, and especially with that Haystack Rock, which was part of the Goonies, people like to fly their drones over there, and there's certain birds that's the only place that they'll breed. And so if you're flying your drones and disrupting that, then they'll like abandon their babies and stuff and never come back.
Sure, but there's obviously situations like that, but that's the answer isn't ban all drones. That's like saying, oh, there's a problem with guns over here, ban all guns.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying.
But what that really is there's a secret base there, and they don't want people seeing that secret base with their drones, so they act like there's some birds or something.
Hell yeah, there's
Definitely believe.
that's so Oregon is a lot more than what a lot of people realize. In Tillamook, they still have I think it's the only air museum left that was a blimp housing for blimps for the World War II and stuff. That was like spy blimps and crap.
An airplane left Japan. Quick, get the blimp ready. And then by the time it flies all the way across the Pacific, the blimp is ready.
What's funny, I was thinking that too, like what would the relevance be nowadays? But I'm sure that with advancements in other equipment, they could probably still have some benefit, I would think. So.
Oh yeah, because they can stay up there forever.
No.
Right? Put a bunch of electronics on a blimp nowadays, and then you don't have to have a drone, right? You just have that blimp up there.
Surveillance, signals, things like that. I'm sure could probably still, do some work for you, I would say. Or assume.
Plus, you think of a blimp as being like a big aircraft carrier for little drones.
It's true too. Yeah. It almost rings a bell to, I don't know, it's probably bullshit though. I don't know, something China was doing or somebody.
Oh no, they got a drone airplane. What do you call it? A drone aircraft carrier flying.
Okay.
Yeah. And more like it, I think it drops them. I think it's more like a bomber. I don't know if they go back to it or not, but I know that drops them.
I assume we got to be doing the same thing or coming up with something similar. So, I mean, I for one didn't think like these modern little drones were going to be any real threat, but I was clearly wrong.
Hell yeah. They're a lot more of a threat than any of us like think about, because I mean now you have where there's like a lot of places that are going away from fireworks and starting to do drone shows instead of fireworks shows. And everything. So you figure if they can do that with say 100 drones or whatever, and that's a single computer that's controlling those. Imagine what they can do with the stuff that we don't know about. There's probably 10,000 drones that are being controlled by a single computer flying, doing swarms. You know how disruptive that could be?
Yeah, well, it's not just that. I mean, they're overseas there. They're loading them up with explosives, basically running them on fiber optic cables so they can not get jammed in a sense. I mean, the technology's come a ways where it's gotten to the point where more people, it's more capable of doing this, being problems, you know what I mean? So I just didn't see it progressing so quick. I mean, I was familiar with drones, I'm thinking big shit in military. I mean, you got crews servicing these things, like, not these little mom and pop donated a drone to you guys, and it's actually effective. So I assume they're better than the cheap shit I bought. It's been a few years now, but I maybe as a distraction, but I wouldn't use it as a tool. Like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, they're super good tools actually.
Yeah, now,
you're checking like a roof to see if like tiles are good, or seeing like where you're going to drop a tree or something. Like they're super useful as like in construction and work in the trades. Put thermals on them, and you can do all kinds of evaluations of like heat loss and stuff. So they're pretty sweet. I just got one that's an FPV where you put on the goggles and then you fly around, right? And I can totally see the attraction of that, because it's like you have a remote control airplane and you're sitting in the pilot seat. So, you know what I mean? Like when you look up and you look down, like you see, it's just so fun. So I don't know how to fly it fast yet, but yeah, they're just super fun. And I can definitely see the potential of them weaponized when you hold or at least the one I have, when you fly it. The thing you hold in your hand is kind of like a joystick, but it's not like it knows where it is in space. So it knows if your hand is like forward, or like if you're rolling your hand, or if you're pitching, like if however your hand is in space, it uses that like gyroscope or whatever as part of the flying. But when you fly, there's like a little dot on the screen. So it's sort of like a laser dot in a cat, where the cat's going to chase the laser. The drone follows that laser dot. So once you get good at it, you're really just putting that laser dot somewhere. And that's how those people like fly down a chimney and like come out a door and like whip around and, you know, go out the back door of like a house and stuff. Now I can see how they do that, because you can kind of point where you want it to go, and then the computer does all the math to make the motors do everything. Like, you're not really doing anything except telling it where you'd like it to go. And because it's, I don't know what they call that, like it's being automated, it's automated the flying of it. So you're really just the controller telling it, go over there, go over there, go over there, go over there, kind of like connect the dots and in real space. So it's super fun. I'm doing it really slow, but I could see how people, once they get the hang of it, go really fast. And obviously now you're talking something that can go in a door, through hallways, find somebody and get them. You know what I mean? Like, I could totally see how that could be weaponized. You don't even have to really do nothing more than put a knife on the front of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be a bomb. But I think the real power would be like you're saying with the fiber optic ones, where nobody can block them. And I'd heard, because, you know, I'm paying attention to drone stuff more and more now, in Ukraine recently, $40,000 worth of drones have been sent over into Russia and caused like $40 billion worth of damage. They took out an airplane or an airport or something. So that's the kind of scale. It's like, you know, remember the whole Vietnamese, you know, with SKS versus the B-52. It's like, you know what I mean? You only have to be a toothpick to stop somebody with balloon tires or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't need super deluxe stuff when you've got vulnerabilities. So yeah, everybody's now racing to, what do you call it? Put up golden domes or whatever they call them, like domes against these drone attacks at like every level, you know, against buildings, against cars,
even down the netting and stuff over the roadways and whatnot. Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely changed things. Like I said, it progressed quicker than I foreseen it. So but
yeah, Kevin in New York is correct. And the moment that happens, New York Outcast will have 3 of them.
No, I have seen one that I kind of interests me. I can't think of the name of it, but basically you can program it. You tap a couple buttons and it'll just take off from your hand, fly and follow you. So if you're on the range, you could have it just kind of going around doing its thing, you know, getting videos. If you're riding a dirt bike or something, it'll literally follow you through, you know, a trail or something. Obviously, low branches in the way might be a problem, you know, if it's real condensed, but any kind of open area space, if you're with your family and want to take a quick picture or something, you can have it pop up. It'll go and find the best, you know, angle, whatever you want to program it to do, and boom, you guys got a portrait. So you don't have to worry about somebody running off with your phone. You know,
Chris from the 740 has that one and told me about it, and I went out and got one, and it's called the Neo. It's $200. Like, you don't even have to have remote control. It's just $200.
Yeah,
it's from DJI. And then I bought the $300 version that comes with 3 batteries instead of the 1 battery, so that way, if you are going to go play around with it, you get it like 20. I always say it's like 20. I always say like there's a range of battery life, because if it's like windy versus just a normal calm day, it just takes more energy or not. So you'll get like 20-30 minutes on each battery. With the 3 batteries, you use the first one, you let's say you're doing something all day, you use up the second one, use up the third one. By the time you're using up that third one, the first one's done being charged almost. So you almost got 4 batteries really. So it just depends if you're going to use it a lot, but it's exactly like you say. It uses AI, I guess, you know, some kind of visual recognition or whatever to see hand signals. So you can give it like, there's like 2 buttons on it, one to turn it on and then one to cycle through those different actions. But once it's up in the air, you kind of like point at it or wiggle your finger, and then, yeah, like you're saying, you're basically telling it what to do. I don't use it that way. I just run it through the remote control through my telephone. And then now with my goggles, I can run it through my goggles, and it's the funnest. It's literally the funnest drone I have. And it's from DJI. So the camera on it is not only a good camera, but like whatever they call like the stabilizing technology from DJI is like the best. So the thing can be all wobbly because it's super windy, or you're, you know, going back and forth or up real fast. It kind of like does a wheelie whenever you go forward. And then when you brake, it does like the opposite of a wheelie, like a helicopter does. But the camera doesn't move at all. The camera is dead solid like a movie because of both the gimbal, but mostly the software inside of it. And that's what DJI is known for, because they make cameras for other purposes and stuff. So that part of it for $200, I mean, I'm not like super snob or whatever, but to me, that video is some of the best. It's better than any of the toy drones I have, and almost as good as my really expensive DJIs. So I'd wholeheartedly recommend that DJI Neo. It's just the funnest little drone to play with, and you only need nothing or a phone, and you can do all kinds of fun with it.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad I brought it up and somebody's familiar, because I've been.
It does take off from your hand. It prefers to take off from your hand and land in your hand, so you don't even have to you can set it on a table or something. I've done that, but it kind of likes to take off from your hand. It's looking for your face and stuff, so it's pretty neat.
Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well get the DJI microphones to go with it, since all DJI syncs with other DJI. And I can tell you
on any of the drones, because all you'd hear was the motors, so they don't even put microphones on them. So that'd be a perfect match.
Let's see, we got Mr. Jixer asking, can you unlock DJI software?
I don't know. That would be awesome. I have one that's locked. So basically when you buy, this is from what I understand it, you buy it and then you have an account with DJI or whatever. You buy it and then it says, hey, welcome. You turned me on for the first time, right? What's your account? And you tell it, and now it's synced with your account. So if you get rid of that drone, you can go in and say, unsync it, like let go of my account. But most people don't. They just throw it away or get rid of it if it breaks or whatever. So that's how I got a cheap one. And I thought I was getting a good deal because I got one for almost nothing, right? But it's locked to that guy's account, and there's nothing you can do to unlock it. So if that's what you're talking about, I wish I knew. Like, I figured I'd figure it out, but there's no just easy website to figure it out. Like, if there is a way, it's some technical way that I haven't figured out. But that being said, I only kind of checked for a few hours. I didn't spend, half a year trying to figure it out or anything. But they're pretty much, I think they're proprietary because they know they're in China. You know what I mean? They know what it's like for people to steal stuff. So I think they lock their stuff down so that they're not being stole by other Chinese companies, honestly, because their stuff is amazing. And they're so far ahead of everybody. I'm assuming they lock their stuff down, because why wouldn't somebody steal their stuff? Some other Chinese company steal their stuff. That's what they do. But I think that's what they are going to be illegal. Like there's a company that they make drones from Chinese parts, but they assemble them here in the US. And they have someone going around saying DJI are evil because they're from the Chinese government, because 20% of the company is Chinese government. So, technically they're 20% Chinese government. And I don't know if that's all companies or if that's just DJI or what. But DJI is like, hey, we're a company, and yeah, they own 20% of us, but they don't tell us what to do. We're DJI. But whatever that alliance of drone companies in the United States or whatever it's called, went to Trump's government and said, I think even Biden's government, and said, I don't know if it's the FCC or the the Border Patrol, but they went to somebody and said, hey, you shouldn't let these drones in the country because they're Chinese government's mapping the country or something. And there's no, they just said that. There's no actual thing. Otherwise everybody would know about it, right? They're just saying that. It's like a rumor. So, but it's like one of those things like, oh, if you're saying it, we have to do an investigation, and then we, determine if we need to stop these drones from being used. But it's like I was saying, thermal drones and mapping drones, and what do you call the drones that, I guess they're just called spraying, field spraying drones that spray pesticides and fertilizers and stuff. 80% of those drones are from DJI. So most of the country is using their drones for stuff. So it's are they mapping the country? Probably. But guess what? That's what they're bought for. It's mapping the country. That's why people are buying them, for search and rescue and stuff. They'll send out a DJI drone to map every cave and rocks and everything, so that if somebody goes missing, they know exactly where to start looking. Is China responsible for that? I mean, they built the thing, but somebody sent it out there to do that intentionally. So anyway, so this company is trying to ban DJI. So I don't know. I think it's kind of like when guns were banned from import. It's one of those things where I don't think there's enough people. I know there's not enough people to give a damn to go do, what do they call those? The comment periods. There's a comment period that ends, I think it ended yesterday, or it ends next Monday. I forget when it ends. It ends on the 10th. So it ends in a couple of days, I think. But nobody's going to say anything, right? Like, there's not that many drone people. And just like you said, like, drone people are the same as gun people. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, oh, I'll just buy a different company's drone, or I'll still be able to have my DJI. But I don't think we're going to be able to, all we're doing is watching what the government does. But they might be banning the DJIs. But then, at the last minute, they might go, oh, wait a minute. We figured out that 80% of the drones in the country are DJIs, so maybe we will keep them.
Yeah, something I've heard of as well, as far as there's obviously, whenever you bring up drones and stuff, there's a lot of talk like that. So, which the skeptical, I know the one I have, I had it set up so I wasn't running GPS, because GPS will help you like dodge walls and all that type of stuff as well too. So maybe that's another reason it was a little sketchier, or I wouldn't call it, something I would use as a weapon. But with GPS helping, that may be a completely different thing.
For sure.
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely something that can be weaponized. I'm not going to suggest they can't be, but I don't care. Like, cars can be weaponized, baseball bats.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Yeah. I mean, really, I wouldn't like, I don't like the idea of anything going through your camera ending up back in China or something. But honestly, what's, not to say it doesn't matter, but what's any different than your cell phone or
that's the
I got right now?
That's the biggest thing, is like the people that are complaining have a Chinese cell phone. So if they really are scared of backdoors, are they reading what we're doing on our phones? They probably
have these apps. I mean, like,
so the fact is to have a company in China, like, it doesn't matter. The government automatically owns 20% of the company. So no matter what company is in there, like, even if it's a U.S. owned company and they are based out of China, the Chinese government owns 20% of it, period. No questions asked. They own 20% of your business. So, yeah. Rob, they would own 20% of your construction company if you were in China. You couldn't say shit about it. They just own it.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow me over there. So people, I probably wouldn't even be allowed to have a company in China, I'd assume. So yeah, I'm a little too dark. Don't have the right names. So.
Dude, there's like white people that are over there in China that own companies.
Well, it's different than
probably married to somebody though.
Black or mulatto or whatever you want to call them. The cops or, certain people, I guess, would just refer to me straight as black. So I don't know. But,
what I've heard recently is I was watching a really interesting thing from these guys that were living in China and then were YouTubers. And they claim they were some of the first YouTubers to do like vlogging from China. And they would go to interesting places that were like off the beaten path. And they said when they first started doing it years ago, the government was kind of cool with it, and they didn't like sponsor them, but they were tolerant of them. And the Chinese government wasn't really communist, or the communist government didn't really push around the communist part all that much. They just were communist. But then he said, whoever the new guy is, I forget his name is, CGXI, right? That guy. Whenever he came to power, it became more communist. And then they locked down, and they eventually ran him out of the country and wouldn't let him come back anymore. They're like, they were going to put him in jail for whatever. So they were saying that the way China looks at it, the way Chinese are like trained or learned or whatever you want to say, is they look at it, there's China and then foreigners, and they kind of lump all the rest of us together. They know that the United States is like the main foreigner right now, but they think of it as like China's been around forever, and there's China and there's everything else on the planet. And, for a while it was Britain was the big annoying foreigner, and now it's the United States, but they just look at the rest of the world as foreigner, and that's just like their culture or whatever. They're, everything's either us or them, Chinese or something else. And like if they care, like they know that there are different countries. But their culture is just like all they care about is China. So we're like somewhere way low on the totem pole. They don't think about us all that much, from what these guys were saying. And I mean, that's all I got to go off is people that live there or whatever. But I thought that interesting, that like makes sense, I guess, because like our cultures are way different. And honestly, we don't care about it. We just know of other countries. Like people in the United States care more about who's singing what, who's going to be at what sports event than what other countries are doing.
And then we, have our government or school upbringing or whatnot that paints us in a certain light as well. I'm sure they have the same thing going on, but not my experience in conversations with people and stuff has been, I don't know, it's one of them funny topics, I guess. I usually don't get into it, but as much as people bitch about like racism in the U.S. or whatnot, which, I don't know, I personally don't see a lot. I see a lot of assholes, but just because somebody's an asshole doesn't make them an actual racist. There's a difference. So New York, everybody's an asshole. So not everybody, but just about.
Wait. Why are you gonna bring me into this, Rob? I mean, calling everyone an asshole. You got to bring me into this? What the hell?
You're like king asshole, but but in some other places, China being one of them. I know Japan's a little funny. There's different class citizens, and black doesn't do so well over there. So some places a dog might get more respect. So I know there's different levels of shit, and whether people want to admit it or not or whatever, that's just from my understanding of it. So I have seen a little bit of this traveling the country to the west where Americans get one price, blacks get another price, and Mexicans get another price, and that's kind of how it goes work wise. Like they're only paying so much. I'm not saying it's right or it's common or anything, but it is a thing that occasionally happens. So overseas, that's all my comment was. Me having a business over there probably wouldn't do too well. I might be able to attempt it, but I don't even think I could without actually being an actual citizen as well. So, or have a lot of money to throw around. But go ahead.
I was just saying the same thing. I think you have to live there. It's like being a nation out here. You have to either be of the tribe or marry somebody, be invested in some way.
I have to pull what's his name? Pull a Steven Seagal.
So Kickstarter was saying, aren't there certain restrictions locked in? So when I first got my first one, there would be, because there's like airports, right? Like airports have like a zone around them, a circle around them, where you're not supposed to fly a drone. It makes sense, right? Like it's airplanes landing and stuff. So when I first got one, you would try to launch it inside of that circle, and it would say, "You're inside the circle." No, like you couldn't launch it inside the circle. So I thought that was kind of cool, personally, because if you make a wrong calculation or something, I don't want to be in trouble for launching inside their airport radius or whatever. So I thought it was kind of a cool feature. But whenever they started messing with them, they did an update and they took out that feature. So now it just says you're in an airport. If you click yes, you can fly, but it's on you. Like it's not our fault. So, the big question mark is why they changed that. If it was just due to public demand, or if it was like a FU to the government, or, it's just a coincidental thing though, but they have changed that. So at least if that's what you're talking about, I kind of like it, because if I'm just turning it on and I'm near an airport and I'm not flying, like I want to just test the camera or something, I can do that now. Where before, it would just say, no, you're inside an airport, like click, and it would turn back off kind of, or at least you couldn't do much with it. Ceiling, yeah, you can only fly a drone to 400 feet ever, period. So that's the kind of the rule. But there are some places where I guess you could think of it as like the airports are a big cone upside down. So you can go kind of up to an airport, and as you get closer to an airport, that 400 goes down to 200 and then 0. So if that's what you're talking about, there's just a small place. There's only a few places where that happens. Probably like where B-52s are flying or something, where big airplanes are, I'm guessing. I really don't know. And then line of sight is another thing that you can't fly it where you can't see it. So that kind of makes sense, right? They don't want people flying it to where they don't know where it is anymore and then losing it or getting in trouble or something.
So you can't fly it in an enemy's building, go down the hall and
correct
in an office.
And they don't count looking out the front of it line of sight, as far as I know. You have to actually be looking at it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know how they film, like when people are flying around buildings. I guess it's just, private property, you can do what you want kind of rules where, you know what I mean? Like when people, because I've seen some really neat stuff, right? You've seen it where they like fly down like in an abandoned building, they'll fly down an elevator shaft or something, pop out and fly all around rooms and come back out. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I don't know if you're on your own property, but I'm not some expert on drones or nothing. I'm an advocate. I like them. I think they're a lot of fun. And they should definitely be, like a lot of things, an indication of freedom. Like there should be no need to, there should be consequences for using them incorrectly. And I don't care about some rules that make sense, but I'm not about banning them, especially for foolish reasons. Sorry, turn it into a drone chat for a bit.
Oh, sorry. It's fine by me.
The reason the line of sight is a thing is because right now you cannot fly beyond line of sight, right? But how does Amazon fly a drone, like, deliver food or some medicine or something with a drone? So they're going to change the law to say you can fly beyond the line of sight if you got like robots, air traffic controlled, and like pre-programmed flight paths. Like as long as you're doing it through robotic means or whatever they call it, like automated means, then it's okay because we know that it's good to go. But you can't have an operator do it, which is kind of lame. Like they're not going to have like Amazon isn't going to have like a room full of people playing a video game of what, the drone's flying. Instead, it's going to be a room full of computer programmers going, like kind of like if Google Maps or something, like creating, I guess, flyways or patterns or something, like, like where we fly out on this road and we fly back on this road or something.
There'll probably be like you'll have to pull a license. You're like, depending on what model of drone you get, you have to get a license for that drone.
License plate.
Yeah, like I know that some of the drones you actually have to like file with the like FAA and pull a drone license.
If they're heavy, you got to get a number, like basically a license plate. Associated, you stick that on there. I think the idea is if you crash it on somebody, then there's a number on it that can, it's like a license they can attribute. Otherwise, you're just dropping a toy out of the sky on somebody. But it has to be over 250 grams. So that's why you see so many of them that weigh 249 grams, is because then they don't need that license plate. And it's $5. So it's not like it's a financial thing, but it is a to do it. But it might be 15, but it's cheap.
It's going to be something like that where you'll have to, pay that $5 or whatever, pull an FAA license for probably out of line of sight. If you want to be able to fly further than what you can clearly see, you've got to go get this special license. It's going to be a money grab. That's the only thing that it's going to be.
It is 100% to license, like Amazon and Walmart or whoever else is going to be doing drone deliveries. But we're going to have, they already do, they're like drone delivery is already like way beyond prototypes. Like,
oh yeah, no. I'm talking about like, so say you personally, say you wanted to fly a drone from your house up to Phoenix and fly around Phoenix and come back, to get special footage that you needed for some video. Like at some point you'll be able to pull an FAA license and be able to do that without ever having to send it, go up there yourself.
Yeah, like a flight path or whatever. I'm sure. Because drones can fly for 30 minutes now. So yeah, if I can put 3 batteries on it, it can fly for an hour and a half, right? So yeah, then I would totally agree with you. And I'm sure that that's what'll happen is they'll just, once there's like enough drones out there delivering stuff, I think of all the candy bars and stuff people are going to be having delivered once it's like cheap or something, or maybe life-saving stuff being delivered. I don't know, but whatever. Like once that stuff is flying around up there, like we're going to have, like right now there's police helicopters in some areas. I don't know where you guys live, if there's police helicopters, but in Tucson, they had 2 or 3 of them, and there's pretty much always one up there somewhere. Like if it's not right above you, like it's flying around somewhere. Like you hear them, and the way the town is, like they're up there. But I don't know what level they fly at, but I'm sure those drones are going to be under them, right? So there'll be like this layer of drone. Well, there'll be like our high lines and our electric lines and stuff. Then there'll be like this layer of drones flying around delivering stuff. Then there'll be the police helicopters, and then there's the whatever they're going to call like the long-term loitering drones that monitor what we're doing down here. Like we were saying, like the blimps, but they make big gliders with solar panels on the wings, and those will be just way up there, like looking at us constantly. Like they won't need cameras on intersections anymore. They'll just have cameras permanently in the air with, instead of having a bunch of bomb bays or bombs in a bomb bay, it'll just have a ton of cameras in its belly, looking at 100 different things all day. And they just come down every 6 months or something, if they even come down that often.
Oh man, DJ's over here talking about chemical warfare. God, how pissed would you be if somebody dropped dirty toilet paper on you? Yeah, from a drone. That just wouldn't be right.
It could make toilet paper in a house a whole nother way, like a whole nother thing. You're minding your business, and a bunch of drones come and drop toilet paper on your house and fly away. Like you have no idea who TP'd your house right
there. And so DJ was talking about ordering toilet paper from like Amazon and having it dropped at your house. Like who would have thought 20 years ago you would have been able to do this?
I would think that it would be the robot cars, but I guess it makes sense to drop the stuff. But I would think then they got cars that can drive themselves, that it's going to be what are those little tiny cars called? The smart cars or something? Like just a car that doesn't even have a place for a person, but it can it's big enough to be on the road and be economical, but can bring a whole family's groceries, But I would think we'd have those things by now at least.
I know they have in certain areas. They have those driverless cars that you can use for like taxis or Ubers or whatever. I don't know if they're in Vegas yet, but I know that they're in other places around that area. And you can just order up a car. It will show up. You get in it. It seats like I think 4 adults, and then it'll take you wherever you want to go.
Yeah, they got that in Phoenix too. Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not trusting a self-driving car, man. Like
I'd go somewhere in it. I want to do it just to be in one. But yeah, I'd be like, pick me up on the side of town and drive me like out into the desert and back. Like I don't want to be in traffic.
Yeah.
I think I would have to be drunk to agree to do it.
Oh, no.
Like this way I would not really remember what
Well, the thing about those robot cars is every mistake they ever make, they all learn from. So they're getting super smart. Like, yeah, I want to be in one just to see. Like, I don't think they, like a regular driver, even in like an Uber or whatever that knows the area, is going to have to brake fast once in a while and like that. I'm curious if they even, if they act like a regular driver or if it's, some kind of science fiction magic or something.
Yeah.
You would never know because it would just be like, no cars have gone missing. What are you talking about? No one ever ordered one of our cars. They would just never admit that you ever got in it.
So, okay. A lot of people are talking about how like these like Teslas and stuff will lock you in the vehicle, and so like if you get into an accident or whatever, you could be like permanently locked in the vehicle. So like you can't open the doors, blah, blah, blah. The thing is you can break the windows.
Yeah. They're not like magic. Just kick the window out like any car.
Or, if you have a firearm on your hip you can use the butt of that to shatter that window or whatever. If you have to, you can, especially like if you're underwater, put a round through one of those windows. Watch that thing explode.
I would just use my butt to break the window if I had to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know the Tesla windows supposedly they were more difficult to get into, and when they first came out, there's a bunch of stories about that where they were concerned, and fire departments were, not that they can't get into them, but that doing so with a disabled person without causing any damage to them, they got to use a lot more force than typical, from my understanding. I don't know if they've changed that or not, but I know that was a thing in the news initially.
I know they're probably worried about the batteries. Like, you imagine, some big thing gets jammed up into the battery. Like, that's basically a ticking time bomb to when it's gonna. I don't know if they explode, but they probably
light up and you can't get out of the car or something. I don't know, or trapped and go off a bridge, whatever the case is. But yeah, I know typically with most vehicles, your headrest is usually has metal rods on it that'll bust a window really easily. You can even, if you don't have a lot of strength, actually press it down in the side of your door panel, just jam it in there and give it a little crank to the side, and that's usually enough leverage to get it to snap.
That's a great idea.
Your door,
that's a good thing to mention, because a lot of 9mm shooters don't have anywhere near the wrist strap.
The strength of it. See, that's the funny part. Glass handles pressure in weird ways. I'm sure we've all seen it with glass where maybe a glass table, you can rest your feet on it, kids can drop something on it, this or that, it's fine. You pick it up and just set it down funny and it shatters into a million pieces. It's all about the edge and pressure.
Your seatbelt is actually the latch it's designed to break your window, so that's
same thing, slide down the door and sideways. Yep.
The metal part you're talking about, like the part.
Yep. Okay. Your buckle part, you clasp in. So it can be done with that down in the side, and with a hard flex downward, and it it's near the edge of the glass. So go ahead, G.
If you grab the piece that latches in, okay, there's that square piece. You can put your finger through there and use that, and then you can use the rest of it to shatter your window. Or there's the edge. They tell you that you can use the edge of the buckle to shatter the metal part. It's designed. It's part of one of their secret designs that you're not supposed to know, but more people are finding out that certain things are designed to save your ass.
Yeah. A lot of multiple uses, I guess, or could be used for different purposes. But it's good stuff to know if you never thought about it, because you don't want to be sinking in water when you're taking the time to think about it. So knowing these options ahead of time, obviously a firearm, is an option. I personally would probably try something that I'd maybe bang it on the glass before I actually popped around. But
in New York, you got to be worried if you were to be sinking in the water like that and then use a firearm to get out, and then you shot the wrong kind of fish.
You're right. Yeah. I took a fish out without a license. I'm done. Felon. So yes, I would hesitate myself. I mean, not to the point where it cost my life, but you got other options there. So
if you just carry about a couple of 100 feet of vinyl tubing, then you could just wing that out your little crack in the window or whatever, and just have a snorkel and just wait there for somebody to save you.
Yeah, they're one of them little fishing bobbers. They'll get to the end, pop it out the top. They'll know where to start looking.
Yep. You can yell out that tube, maybe. Yeah. Now we don't have to worry too much about falling into big water in Arizona, at least. If you fall off a bridge in Arizona, you just got to worry about hitting the rocks and sand at the bottom of probably a 2 or 3 story drop or something, but usually there's not water down there to catch you.
Yeah, that's here. We got a lot of hills and back and forth. Sometimes you got a creek with nothing in it, and sometimes you got a creek with 6 feet in it or more. So there's rivers. I can think of a storm. I was at a party one time, and there was a girl there, which I'll never forget, because her kids were with the babysitter, and the babysitter went out with her boyfriend. The story was, I don't know, they go get drugs or go get weed or something. I don't know, middle of the night, taking somebody else's kids to out in the country to go get whatever. And they hit a bridge that just recently got washed out. Everybody died, kids, everybody. So girl found out about it, and she still just kind of sat at the party. And I was just like, are you crazy? Like, it killed the party for me. It wasn't even I don't even know her, but still, it's like, what are you doing here? I don't know. But I don't know. She probably in shock. I don't know. She should have chose better people to take care of her kids. That's for damn sure. Because I don't give a damn what it is. Like, unless my house is on fire, you shouldn't be leaving the house with my kids in the middle of the night if I paid you to babysit. Like,
well, that specific circumstances aside, if you're in a circumstance though where you run into a bridge that's out like that, my suggestion would be to Dukes of Hazzard that shit and just
jump. Gun it and jump. If you can, if it's one of them things where it's, oh God, just put your foot down. Hesitating's what gets you killed. You're all in or all out. But yeah,
so, I've been watching TV since the 80s, and almost always, if there's a bridge out, somebody has put some kind of piece of wood up against some barrels, or there's some kind of a truck with a flatbed that's like angled. That's almost always nearby. So aim for that, and that you can use that as a ramp.
Yeah. Here. Yeah, it depends. You might see a cone up or something, or if you're lucky, a neighbor will go out and push stuff. But nowadays you're more than likely they're just drinking coffee with a camera rolling, just waiting to see what happens. So
good point.
Man, so always verify. I guess you wouldn't think a bridge that you go over all the time might be out, but it seems hard to me. I've seen this in other situations where people just the bridge collapses in the middle of the day and people drive up and fall off the bridge. Like, what the hell are you looking at? Like, I know we all get in a zone sometimes, be thinking about work or something, but if the road's missing, I think that's a pretty obvious, you got a problem. At night in the rain, it's a little harder, but I don't know. I think some of these people, if they just paid a little more attention to what they were doing, probably wouldn't be in that situation. But I don't want to talk ill about the dead, as they say in some cases, because I'm sure the right situation, coming around a blind corner in the rain, it might be able to happen to any of us. So,
I can think of plenty of times when I've driven just on the faith that there's still going to be a road there. But usually I'm not going to do that over a bridge, or just like in an area where there's bridges, right? I'm talking, like maybe a pothole or something, or a parked car would be in front of me, the worst case scenario.
Yeah, slightly flooded or something. But where there's a bridge, I don't know if I'm messing with that, especially if I got somebody's kids in the car or something like this, or man. But I guess, all depends on circumstance. But
I've been a couple, as you were saying that, I can think of a couple of times when there's just maybe there's the way that the hill of the road was. You got your coffee?
My coffee robot showed up.
I've been a couple of times driving where the road was just going down a hill, I guess you'd say, and you just don't know where it's coming. Like here's a good spot when you're coming from New Mexico into Colorado, you go up a hill and then down a hill. And I've been coming down that hill into Colorado before when it was snowing really hard, so that is essentially you can only see a little bit in front of the car. And since I don't know that road real well, and it's pretty steep going down. That was pretty scary. You know, I was on the edge of my seat because, you know, I didn't know if the road, when I was coming over that hill, if I was going to be going left or right away, because it was almost always a left or a right. It was a very hilly area, so that was pretty tense. But that's about the only thing I can think of where, like, you just don't know. You have faith that the road is going to be there because there's a highway pointed at it. You know, like,
Yeah.
We're not running me off a bridge or whatever. But yeah, but you wouldn't know though. Like, honestly, if a bridge did collapse and it was a clean break, like, how would you really know? Oh, you know, another place like that is when you come out of San Diego back in towards Arizona, but still way over by San Diego. You come out of these mountains, and I did that one time in the rain, and that was actually pretty edge of your seat also. And it was kind of straight. It's just that for whatever reason, it's steep enough that it just feels like there's no road in front of you.
Yeah, Kevin makes a good point. Fog, you know, I don't know, you know, it's probably different areas, but around here with the elevation change and stuff, it can be like so bad that you literally can't see 5 feet in front of your vehicle sometimes. Obviously, in those situations, I could see it happening. You know, it's your normal path home. You know, you had no clue. You know, maybe there was a little rain, nothing significant. You had no idea that the bridge got washed out because, you know, it's can be that bad where it's almost like 5 feet in front. I can remember a time I had to get out and walk with my hand on the car and walk the shoulder so my dad could see where the hell he was going. You know, it was that bad. So, you know, just to be sure, in a sense, because there was a cliff next to us too. You're like, nowadays, you're like, you had the kid out there in between your car and your cliff. Yeah, my dad, you know, we didn't grow up like softies. You know, if I died, I died doing something good for the old man. So
you would have hold on to the car, started or whatever. He would have turned into the other way.
Something, yeah. So that's just what it is. But yeah, fog can definitely be bad if you're not familiar with it. And a lot of people on highways and stuff, they'll slow down almost to a stop damn near and get other people jacking on their brakes, like, you know, and you have other people that are like, all right, you know, Days of Thunder, and it's hammered down, just blowing through it. So it does, you know, just normal driving can get risky in the fog. So,
and that's what I experienced in California there, because that area that has got the weather is just on top of the mountain, and the people that live there know that, so they blow through it. Like, you know, to them it's nothing. They're used to it. To me, it was creepy because I had no visibility and I don't know the roads. But yeah, they know that if they blow through it in 3 minutes, then they're not wasting 5 minutes in it, because it's just a strip of, you know, it's just that area where the water from the ocean drops onto the mountains, and then it's done, and then it's dry desert. And I figured that out after the fact. I'm like, oh wow, it's almost like you like coming out of a car wash. It's like raining, and then all of a sudden it's not raining and it's completely dry. And yeah, when you know that, like, yeah, you're gonna run through that as fast as possible, just because you know there's an end to it, basically.
Well, guys, we've been on for over 2 hours. Rick usually goes for an hour. I think we've done pretty good. Could go on, but, you know, I don't want to get crazy. And technically, I was only really planning on an hour. But thanks to the company and the discussion, 2 hours have gone by, and I didn't even really know. So it's going to try to wrap this up. I don't know if you guys got anything you want to throw out there for the world.
Thanks for your hosting. Good chat.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invite and everything. And eat a damn salad. You know, maybe you won't get it. Maybe you won't get an infected leg. Try some mac and cheese every once in a while. You know, it is the American thing to do. So yeah. Other than that, I probably would not have made it any other day, but I wasn't at work today, so. Hey, had the time to come join you.
Cool. I appreciate both of you guys showing up. Chris 740 as well. It's always better, you know, I think, as a host. At least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's better when people show up. It makes it a little, better because I'm not that interesting, you know, at least in my opinion or whatever, keeping things going. Plus, it's nice to have different lines of talking points and stuff. You know, I had a little list. Unlike Rick, I was gonna point out. You know, I made a list of stuff. I don't think we really touched. I hit the hat because I seen DM Foss in there. Other than that, I don't think I hit anything on my list. But yeah, and we got through 2 hours. So
Hell, you didn't even yell one time.
No,
I mean, how
damn
the
it,
hell?
damn cats. You're right. Sorry. But yeah, it kind of blew through. So I really do appreciate you guys showing up. And you know, do something in the future. I'll try to give a little bit of heads up like I did at this time. Wasn't a lot, a couple hours, but for me that's a lot. It's usually spur of the moment. So I thank you. Thank everybody in the chat. Everybody out there, stay cool. If you were new to this channel and liked what you see, subscribe, check everybody out. You know, we're kind of like Forrest Gump. You never really know what you're going to get, but it'll be edible. So, yeah. Other than that, eat a salad and have a great evening.